Welcome back. All right, time for reviewing the 9 games tonight. Also, before finishing up the review boards and the standings, I also made sure that I got the power rankings all in order. So as soon as this video is done, I can get the power rankings board in here, get that done, and then I'm done for tonight. And tomorrow's games don't start until later. Also, my opinion on the baseball is this: if you are at home and you have the bases loaded and it's the 9th inning, you absolutely have to score. If you do not, tonight, Yvonne was at the Abbotsford game, and the Abbotsford Canucks are, well, they're off to a really bad start because most of the Abbotsford players they'd be counting on are playing for Vancouver right now. So it's a bloodbath. She said there were fans leaving the Abbotsford game to go home and watch the Blue Jays game, and I said to her, I'm not sure why, because they're blowing it. So, either way, it's Game 7. It's involving a Toronto team, and I've already seen a lot of the jokes seem to be writing themselves. Okay, so we will start things off talking about Dallas and Florida. DeSmith versus Bobrovsky in this one. And in the first period, there were 9 total shots. It was all defense. Both teams go 0 for 1 on the power play. Very quiet, and then the shots were adjusted. They end up with 11 shots in total, 6 of them for Florida. But when that period was done, they initially showed 9 shots. So, very defensive game. That changes in the second period. At 1:48, Marchand buries one on a 2-on-1 rush. Lusterinen and Lundell with the assists, so 1-0 Florida. Then at 4:02, Reinhart puts one in from a sharp angle after somebody else had hit the post. I think it was Verhaeghe's shot hit the post, and Rodriguez with the assists as well. So 4:02 into the second period, all of a sudden it's 2-0 in favor of Florida. The Dallas Stars had 9 shots 30 minutes into the game. They would pick it up in the second half, but it didn't look great in the first half. So at 14:47 during a 4-minute power play, Dallas would make Florida pay. Johnston from Steele and Rantanen first during the first 2 minutes, and then during the second 2 minutes, they score again. This time it's Ritskovian. It is his first National Hockey League goal. This is at 14:59. It's 2 goals in 12 seconds. Harley and Steele with the assists. So Sam Steele with 2 assists over a 12-second period. All of a sudden, we have ourselves a 2-2 tie, and that would be your score after 2. Third period, the shots are 2-1 Dallas at 6.5 minutes, and it stays 2-2 until 12:26. Bennett puts a rebound into the open net. He finally gets his second goal of the season, the assist to Forsling and Samoskevich. It stays that way until 17:18. During heavy pressure by Dallas, they tie it. Rantanen tips one from the side of the net. Steele and Robertson with the assist. So Steele with 3 assists in this game helps to get this game into overtime. The overtime the Stars controlled early. Ekblad's tonight in close. We get some pushing, and eventually we go to a shootout. In the shootout, it is Brad Marchand getting the winner, so it's a 4-3 shootout victory for Florida. And since it's in Florida, all 3 stars are from the Florida Panthers. Marchand, Bobrovsky, and Reinhart. Shots on net, 6-5 Florida in the first, 12-7 Florida in the second, 7-5 Florida in the third, 5-3 Dallas in the overtime. Final shots, 28-22 in favor of the Panthers. Power plays, Dallas 2 for 3, Florida 0 for 1. The hits, 26-21 in favor of Florida. DeSmith, 25 saves on 28 shots. Bobrovsky, 19 saves on 22 shots. I would have given Sam Steele like a star, but that's me. That's just me. All right, next up. Washington and Buffalo. So it's Lindgren versus Luukkonen, and early on, looks like Washington's turning things around. First at 1:07, it's Dylan Strome, who's just back in the lineup. He scores from Beauvillier and Leonard. And then just over a minute later, at 2:15, it becomes 2-0. Protas scoring from McMichael and Wilson. So very early on, we are looking at a game that Washington might wipe them out. But 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Tage Thompson buries one on a pass from behind the net. I kept waiting for an assist to be thrown on this goal. I had no idea why it wasn't listed. But at any rate, there you go. It's 2-1. Then we had a fight between Wilson and Greenway after a hit by Greenway, which Wilson didn't like. Then at 10:02, and I believe that was on Chisholm. 10:02, Buffalo ties it on a 2-on-1 rush. Tuck wires it. Doan and Power with the assists, so we have ourselves a 2-2 tie. That is until 18:45. Roseanne finally gets his first National Hockey League goal. At 18:45, Quinn and Timmins with the assists on a goal that's past a screen, short side from the right circle. So after the first period, it's 3-2 Buffalo. Crazy game. I figured this is going to get an 80s magnet. Nope. Second period was pretty quiet in that Luukkonen played really, really well. kept Washington off the score sheet until 1917. Milano ends up getting credited with the goal, Roy and Ferravari with the assists, and they celebrate with punching on that one. So these teams not very happy with each other. So in the third period, Buffalo did their best to hand it away, and I say that because the Capitals had 3 power plays, including one with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the period, but Buffalo kills that off. We then go to overtime. The Caps controlled early. They controlled a lot of the play in the overtime, but Luukkonen was fantastic. We then go to the shootout. It goes all the way to round 5. Bowen Byram ends up getting the winner for Buffalo. Shootout victory for Buffalo. So 4-3 is your final. Your 3 stars are Luukkonen, Rosen, and Byram. Shots on net, 10-9 Buffalo in the first, 15-7 Washington in the second, 6-5 Buffalo in the third, 5-1 Washington in the overtime. Final shots 34-24 for the Capitals. Power plays 0-4 for Washington, 0-3 for Buffalo. The hits 22-17 Buffalo. Lindgren saves 21 out of 24. Luukkonen saves 31 out of 34. All right, moving on. Ottawa and Montreal. Ullmark versus Montembeault, 2 goaltenders who are looking to bring up their save percentages, and tonight, neither of them really did so. So it's 7:05. It's a 5-hole goal that trickles through. Caulfield scores this one from Suzuki. It's 1-0 Montreal. Then at 9:25 on a power play, Slafkovsky makes it 2-0. The assist to Suzuki and Caulfield. So there's Suzuki and Caulfield prominent on the score sheet. Not a big surprise for Montreal. Clevin had a fight with Veleno. Coming out of that, the Sens have the power play. Montreal kills that off. It's 2-0 Habs after 1. Second period, there's a post for Demidov. The light came on there, but the puck did not cross the line. And 30 minutes into this game, Ottawa has 6 shots. 6. However, at 11:53, Batherson gets him on the board. So Batherson makes it 2-1 for Ottawa. Hudson then has a penalty shot. That's saved. Seems like there were a lot of penalty shots today, too. The Sens score, but there's a goalie interference goalie interference is called on it. So with about 9 seconds left, there's a goalie interference call. The referees are like, no goal. Ottawa challenges it, and it counts. It ends up being Amadio from Pinto and Zub at 19:50, and Travis Green with the right call there, and that leaves the game tied at 2 going into the third period. It stays that way until 12:27. Stützle with a beautiful backhand, top shelf on a rush. Batherson and Clevin with the assists. So now Ottawa's got a lead in Montreal, and that lasts until 17:37. Demidov with a one-timer from the slot, ties it at 3. Hudson and Matheson with the assists. Then we go into overtime, because a lot of games went into overtime today, a lot. The early games, there was only the 1 out of 4, but tonight we have 3 here. We have more on the next board as well. Like I said, these overtime games are adding a lot of points to the standings. It's going to be interesting to see if it continues this year. We might see a bunch of teams with like 20 overtime loss points and shootout loss points. All right, so Newhook ends up scoring at 1 minute and 40 seconds on a breakaway. Gives Montreal the 4-3 overtime win. Huge win for Montreal. Your 3 stars are Caulfield, Suzuki, and Demidov. Shots on net, 9-5 Montreal in the first, 7 apiece in the second, 9-5 Montreal in the third. Montreal also has both shots in overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots 27-17 for Montreal. Power plays, Ottawa 0-3, Montreal 1-3. Both teams had 27 hits in this game. Ullmark saved 23 out of 27. Montembeault saved 14 out of 17. So like I said, neither goaltender ends up bringing up their save percentage tonight. All right, Toronto and Philly. So it's Stolarz versus Vladar, and I'm sure every Toronto fan was watching this game the whole way through. At 1:09, Philadelphia opens the scoring. Dvorak, it's a net feed that's roofed after some nice forechecking by Philly as well. Grobenkin and Konechny with the assists, so 1-0 Philly, but Toronto would answer at 6:15. Matthews wires one from the high slot to make it 1-1. The assist to Riley and Robertson. Yarncroke then got dinged on friendly fire, but he would stay in the game. Just one of those shot blocks, unintentional. It's 1-1 after the first period. Second period, 8:14 in. It's a point shot pass to screen, and McCabe scores. The assist to Tanev and Michelli. So Toronto has themselves the lead, and they add to it late in the second period at 17:33. Robertson roofs a one-timer on a rush. Maybe he needs ice time. The assist to Nyes and Tavares, and all of a sudden it's 3-1 in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Things get pushy at the horn, kind of leading to what was an interesting third period. In the third period, 33 seconds in, Cowan with his first NHL goal. It's a wrister from the slot. Tavares with the assist, because of course Tavares set him up. It's 4-1. That ends the night for Vladar. Kolosov goes into the net. The Flyers score. It's ruled as a high stick, so the referee is informed that he sucks, because that's what happens. Fans let the referee know that high stick means that he sucks. Tanev, he takes a hit in this game. Now, there's no direct contact with the head. Doesn't need to be. He was clearly jarred. He was down in the ice for quite some time. He was taken off on a stretcher. He just came back from a head injury. Considering how much time Tanev's been in the NHL, how many injuries he's been through and everything, for him to stay down like that, I have real concern if he's coming back this season. Just going to say, if we end up finding out it's 2 weeks or a month, I think that's a miracle. Because for Tanev to need to be taken off the ice like that, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen that before. So hopefully Tanev is okay, but that was scary. There was no vicious intent behind it. It ends up being 2 minutes for Michkov on the play. It wasn't a 5 minute. And then that's killed off. And then during a 6-on-4, as Philadelphia has a power play, they do score. Forrester with a one-timer, Zegras and Michkov with the assists at 16:08. So that makes it 4-2. The Flyers pull the goalie to go 6-on-4 again on the power play. And in 1942, Yarncroke hits the empty net, the assist to Joshua and Benoit. But obviously, while Toronto wins the game 5-2, the primary concern tonight is the status of Chris Tanev. I haven't seen anything yet. I've got my fingers crossed that hopefully it was an abundance of caution and he's okay, but it didn't look good. 3 stars are Stolarz, Tavares, and Robertson. Shots on net, 7-6 Philly in the first, 12-7 Toronto in the second, 19-9 Philly in the third. Final shots, 33-27 for the Flyers. Power plays, 0-3 for Toronto, 1-6 for Philly. The hits, 20-17 Toronto. Stolarz saves 31 out of 33 against his former team. I think the funny part was, too, when there's a bit of a scrum, and he just grabs Zegras by the scruff of the neck and pulls him out of it. And I'm thinking, well, Stolarz played in Anaheim. Zegras played in Anaheim. They know each other. Vladar, 15 saves on 19 shots, and Kolosov saved all 7 shots in relief. But yeah, that image of Stolarz with Zegras, there's a meme born with that one. But that's obviously not the headline out of this game. All right, moving along. The St. Louis Blues and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So it's Hofer versus Greaves, and early on, St. Louis gets on the board at 3:37. It's a post and in for Justin Falk from the right circle. Sundqvist and Holloway with the assists. So St. Louis, who really needed a win coming into tonight, got off to the good start. But at 4:38, so a minute and a second later, Coyle scores from Sillinger and Provorov. So that lead doesn't last a minute. We then had a fight between Tucker and Olivier. Apparently they had a fight last year as well, so tradition is born. Both goalies were pretty darn good in that first period. Hofer came into this game with the worst save percentage amongst any goaltender that's played 4 games so far this year. So he brought that save percentage up in the first period and did throughout the night. Second period, it stays 1-1 until 11:55. Werenski, it's a screened wrist shot from the right circle, so Hofer didn't see it. Werenski scores from Matejchuk. I believe that Werenski's on a 3-game goal scoring streak now. And it's 2-1 in favor of Columbus after 2. Third period. On the power play at 5:07, the puck's sitting behind Hofer in the crease, and it's Monahan that puts it in. It's his first goal of the season. We'll see if that really gets him going. The assist to Werenski and Marchenko. So there's Werenski again, and it's 3-1 Columbus. Until at 9:48, on a rush, Bjugstad puts one in from the slot past that screen, and absolutely gorgeous goal by Bjugstad to make it 3-2. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left, and that's when Columbus basically went, all right, Greaves, you're the star of the show now. Let's see some saves. And there were some saves that were made. Greaves looked fantastic. It's a 3-2 win for Columbus. They hold on and win it. Your 3 stars are Greaves, Werenski, and Monahan. Shots on net, 17-14 Columbus in the first, 10-7 Columbus in the second, 18-8 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 39-35 in favor of St. Louis. Power play, St. Louis 0-2, Columbus 1-3. The hits, 21-14, St. Louis. Hofer saves 32 out of 35. Greaves saves 37 out of 39. So there you go. All right, next up. Last one on this board's Vancouver and Minnesota. It's Demko versus Gustafsson. There was a post for Villander on a rush, and then Minnesota would score on the power play. At 15:53, Tarasenko with a backhand in close. He scores from Eriksson Ek and Boldy, so that makes it 1-0 Minnesota. That lead would hold all the way through to the end of the first period. In the second period at 5:34, it's O'Connor getting his first of the season. He buries a rebound from the doorstep. McEachern and Ratu with the assist. So Mackenzie McEachern with his first point with the Vancouver Canucks. Then at 13:49, Minnesota gets their lead back. Rossi roofs one from the side of the net. Tarasenko and Middleton with the assist. So Tarasenko with a couple of points already. It's 2-1 Minnesota. That lead holds until the end of the second period. Third period, it's 4:07 in, and Hinostroza gets his first goal in 16 games, which of course stretches back to last season. He scores that one from Brodin. All of a sudden, we have a 3-1 lead in favor of Minnesota. And it becomes 4 at 5:46. This is one Demko should have had, I think. Brodin has one that trickles through Demko. Eriksson Ek and Tarasenko with the assist. I think Demko thought he had it, but either way, it becomes 4-1, and that's a lot. That's a lot considering Minnesota desperately needed this win tonight. However, at 6:59, Vancouver would answer. It's Drew O'Connor with his second of the game. It's a face-off win by Ratu. O'Connor buries it on a one-timer, and so it's 4-2. The goalie pull ends up happening, and at 16:43, Hartman, just as I'm putting goalie pull on the board, he scores the empty netter. So that makes your final score 5-2. Big win for Minnesota, and for Vancouver, it's going to be a frustrating loss, but considering the amount of injuries and considering how long they've been on the road, understandable. 3 stars, Brodin, Eriksson Ek, and Vlad Tarasenko. Shots on net, 6-4 Minnesota in the first, 13-12 Minnesota in the second, 12-8 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 28-27 for the Canucks. Power plays, Vancouver 0 for 3, Minnesota 1 for 3. The hits, 26-22 for Minnesota. Demko saves 22 out of 26. Not one of his best games, but it happens. And Gustafsson saves 26 out of 28 at the other end. All right, let's go ahead and go to board number 2. All right, Devils and Kings. Markstrom versus Kemper in this one, and early on, New Jersey jumps on him. At 1:22, it's a point shot that deflects in. Last I looked, it was still credited to Hischier. I thought they were going to give that to Luke Hughes. But Hischier from Luke Hughes it is. And at 1:22, it's 1-0 for New Jersey. And even though LA played really well in that first period, Markstrom was a wall. Jacob Markstrom clearly likes his new contract. 2 more years he's going to be in New Jersey, and based on tonight's game, I think Devils fans are going to be okay with it. Early in the second period, New Jersey makes it 2-0. Hallinan gets his first NHL goal at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Glendening and Chalowski with the assists. It was a wrister short side from a sharp angle, so just throw it at the net and it goes in. Makes it 2-0, and that lead holds up through 2 periods, even though LA had 32 shots in the first 2 periods. Markstrom wasn't allowing anything. Then in the third period, during an LA power play, New Jersey scores. Mercer rifles one far corner on a rush at 3:09. Siegenthaler with the assist, and more importantly, the Devils do finish the kill. The Kings would score, though, at 9:49, Kuzmenko. On a backhand pass from behind the goal line, Kuzmenko buries it. Kopitar and Laferriere with the assists. So Kuzmenko with his third of the season. All of a sudden, it's 3-1. So they pulled the goaltender with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to make it 6-4. And Mercer hits the empty net for the shorthanded goal from Dillon at 16:15 and from his own zone. Because when you're shorthanded, you don't have to worry about icing. So it does ice the game. Makes it 4-1. They would pull the goaltender again for the 6-4 to no avail. New Jersey wins this one 4-1. Your 3 stars are Markstrom, Hallinan, and Mercer. Shots on net, 14-8 LA in the first, 18-11 LA in the second, 11-3 LA in the third. Final shots, 43-22 for the Kings. Power plays, New Jersey didn't have any. LA goes 0 for 4. The hits, 12-10 New Jersey. Markstrom, 43 saves on 44 shots. Great game. Kemper, 18 saves on 21 shots for Darcy Kemper. All right, next up, Chicago and Edmonton. I've been saying in this early part of the season, I think Chicago is for real. And I think tonight's game in Edmonton shows they're for real. They may not make the playoffs, but they're definitely getting a lot better. So it's Knight versus Skinner. There was a penalty shot for Podkolzin, and he missed it. He missed the net on it. The Oilers then scored just after the horn. The horn, it had just gone to 0.0, and then the puck went in. So if you had another tenth of a second on the clock, that goal would have counted. It didn't. So it's scoreless after one, but Edmonton still on the power play. They would get the goal at 53 seconds, and I believe it was Draisaitl that got that one that didn't count, so he gets the one that does on the power play from Nugent Hopkins and McDavid. However, Chicago would answer almost halfway through the period at 8:31. It's Bertuzzi tipping one in close. The assist to Bedard and Burakovsky was a nice pass by Bedard, so Connor Bedard continues his ascent in terms of his production in the NHL. Then another power play marker. The power plays were good tonight. At 17-17, it's Jack Roslovic scoring on the power play for Edmonton. The assist to McDavid and Bouchard. We have a 2-1 Edmonton lead. That is our score after 2. Third period, 3:18 in. Burakovsky buries a rebound to tie it, because it's what happens in these games tonight. Levshinov and Green with the assists. We have ourselves a 2-2 tie. Nurse then prevents a goal by Doc, so good defensive play there by Nurse. Initially, it looked like it was Draisaitl that prevented it, but it was Nurse. And so we're going to overtime. Tied at 2. Oilers controlled early. Ekholm misses an open net, and I thought that could haunt him. However, at 2:42, Bouchard buries a rebound to win it. Draisaitl and McDavid with the assists. So a 3-2 overtime win for Edmonton. Your 3 stars are Bouchard, Roslovic, and Burakovsky. So a Canadian team in extra time won tonight. Shots on net, 13-6 Edmonton in the first, 11-10 Chicago in the second, 11-4 Chicago in the third, 3-1 Edmonton in the overtime. I know Montreal won at home too. Power plays, 1-for-1 for Chicago, 2-for-3 for Edmonton. The hits, 18-9 for Edmonton. So Chicago's not physical tonight, but they got the point. Spencer Knight, 27 saves on 30 shots. He was very good. Skinner was as well. 27 saves on 29 shots. All right, last game of the night, and it is the Rangers and the Kraken. So Shesterkin versus Decord, and it was a lively first period once we got past the halfway mark. At 10:16, Gavrikov. It's past a screen, and it's off Decord's glove into the net from the point. Gavrikov with his first goal as a Ranger. Fox and Brodzinski with the assists. However, Seattle would answer. 12:49 on the power play. Stevenson goes far corner on a wrister from the left circle to make it 1-1. The assist to Dunn and Tolvanen. So Tolvanen with another helper. He's still looking for that first goal. But Chicago would answer a minute and 1 second later. At 13:50, it's Laba burying a rebound. Cooley and Lafreniere with the assists. Laba was impressive during the preseason, and that work ethic continues into the regular season. I think he's been good for the Rangers. It is 2-1 Rangers after the first. Second period, 6:59 in. Montour, during a shift where Seattle had dominated, the Rangers were just wiped out. Montour buries one on a wrister from the point. Schwartz and Stevenson with the assists. We have ourselves a 2-2 tie. The Rangers score, but it's ruled no goal. I think it was for goalie interference. It was kind of a mess. They let the play go for a bit after, but I think it was for goalie interference. Either way, it's 2-2 after the second period. In the third period, halfway through the period, the Kraken had managed one shot. So again, it's a team saying, so listen, Joey, you're the goalie, and we hope that you can make saves because we're not going to get any shots. Either way, Joey Decord helps get this game to overtime. The Rangers controlled early. There were lots of rushes and turnovers in this overtime until at 2:42, it's Will Cooley putting one in, Miller and Fox with the assists. The Rangers steal one in Seattle, 3-2, and by steal it, I mean they outplayed Seattle through most of it. So 3 stars are Cooley, Stevenson, and Montour. Shots on net, 10-5 Rangers in the first, 6-3 Rangers in the second, 9-4 Rangers in the third, and 2-1 in overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots, 27-13 for the Rangers. Power plays, the Rangers 0-3, Seattle 1-2. The hits, 24-11 for the Rangers. Shesterkin saves 11 out of 13, so not great stats there, I guess. But he does get the win, and Decord, 24 saves on 27 shots. He had another strong game in the net for Seattle. All right, let's look at what all of these overtime games have done to the standings. Now, I might just be old. Maybe it's my age showing, but I don't remember seeing this many overtime loss, shootout loss points early in the season. So Colorado's number 1 in the NHL, 7-1-5, 19 points. 5. They have 5 overtime or shootout loss points. Winnipeg, 9-3, 18 points, with the same number of games played. Utah, 8-3, of course, for 16 points. Did not play today. They are still third in the Central. Number 1 in the Pacific is still Vegas, 6-2-3 for 15 points. But Edmonton's second, I should say, 6-4-3. 15 points for them. Seattle 5-2-4, 14 points in 11 games for them. Remember, it's an 82-game schedule, so 4 times 7 and a bit. It's about like 30 overtime loss points. Then the number one wild card is Dallas, 6-3-3, because they got an overtime loss point as well. Shootout loss. 15 points in 12 games. The LA Kings are 5-4-4. 14 points in 13 games for them. Then just below the playoff line, you got Anaheim 6-3-1. 13 points in 10 games. Chicago 5-4-3, 13 points in 12 games. Nashville 5-6-2, 12 points in 13 games. Vancouver, lazy, not getting any points in extra time. 6-7, 12 points in 13 games. Minnesota now 4-6-3, 11 points in 13 games. San Jose is now ahead of St. Louis. This just threw the power rankings completely into chaos this week. 4-6-2 for San Jose, 10 points in 12 games. St. Louis, 8 points in 12 games with a record of 3-7-2. They've just crashed. And for Calgary, 2-9-2, 6 points in 13 games. People may have an idea of where they are in the power rankings. So that's the West, where you can see there's some mediocrity in that there's only 2 teams with a winning record. And I know people are going to say, well, winning record if you don't count those overtime losses as losses, which the NHL technically doesn't. There's only 2 teams with a positive record that are outside of the playoff picture. So 10 out of 16. Whereas in the East, yeah. Montreal's first, of course, 9-3, 18 points in 12 games. Detroit second, 8-4, 16 points in 12 games for them. Ottawa third, 6-5-2, 14 points in 13 games. So the Sens stay third after tonight's action. New Jersey is first in the division, 9-3, 18 points in 12 games. Pittsburgh, 8-3-2 after the loss today against Winnipeg. So 18 points in 13 games for them. And look who's third. Columbus, 7-4, 14 points in 11 games. I love this season so far. First wild card is Carolina. I said Carolina could end up fourth in the division. So right now, they're fourth in the division. I didn't expect these 3 teams to necessarily be ahead of them, although I did think New Jersey had a good chance, but not Pittsburgh and Columbus. So kind of right, but kind of really wrong. 7-4 is the record for Carolina as well, so they just lose out on the tiebreaker to Columbus. The Rangers are now above the playoff line, 6-5-2, 14 points in 13 games. If they can win at home, the Rangers are a playoff team, but that's been a struggle. Then just outside the playoffs, Boston, 7-7. They've even the record at 14 points, and everybody in this conference is either at NHL 500 or above. Philadelphia 6-4-1, 13 points in 11 games. Washington 6-5-1 now, 13 points in 12 games. Florida also 6-5-1. Toronto also 6-5-1. Buffalo 5-4-3, 13 points in 12 games for them as well. Tampa 5-4-2 for 12 points in 11 games. And now the Islanders are last in the conference, 5-5-1 with 11 points in 11 games. Keep in mind that 5-5-1 would get you up to above Minnesota in the West. So, yeah, the East definitely has a better record, and the West is just piling up the overtime and shootout loss points. If it continues at this rate, what's going to be said? Like, could GM say anything? Will it just be reporters? Will it be me whining about it in videos? Will people in my comments be upset? Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I've always disliked when a team wins 5 out of 13 games and they find themselves above the playoff line. And I don't care if I root for them or I don't. Dallas has won 6 out of 12. I would not necessarily say that they're worthy of being ahead of Anaheim at this point. Anaheim does have games in hand, of course, and they only sit 2 points back with 2 games in hand. So we'll see how everything turns out. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.